We're live. I think.
All right.
Excellent. Sweet. How you doing, Brett?
Pretty well. How you doing?
Thanks for volunteering to join our torture chamber.
Awesome. I love getting tortured.
Excellent.
No,
Excellent.
nobody likes that. Actually, that's pretty dark. I regret saying that instantly.
So the reason I brought you on, Brett, is because I've tried all these AI tools, and I know you've tried more than I have. And I just haven't had great success getting something interesting or mildly useful out of them. And I know you've made some cool stuff that I've seen. And so yeah, I wanted to get your opinion and feedback on what what services do you like, which ones do you not like, and like what do we do to get the best images out of them?
Yeah. All right. Happy to start. And I'll share my desktop and show some stuff a little bit later. So there are a few different models out there that are pretty popular right now.
Mhm.
Actually, and one that's really kind of picking up steam. But the first one, like the most popular one, is Midjourney, and objectively that delivers like the best images, and that also comes with a monthly fee. So pay, if you're going to use it, you want to pay a fee for that. There are all sorts of prompt guides out there too that are helpful for that, as well as some Discord shortcuts. All the image creation happens on that, like in Discord through a Discord bot. So if you subscribe, you can like DM the bot and stuff. I don't use that one as much because I tend to not create images like every day. So it's just not something I subscribe to. There's also a free preview of something called Leonardo that creates Leonardo AI that creates some pretty awesome images. And there's OpenAI's DALL-E 2, and that one is made by the folks who make ChatGPT. So that came out a little bit before ChatGPT. I mean, they continue to develop it and all that stuff. But then, like, when ChatGPT came out, I mean, that was crazy, and people they kind of just sucked up all the press. But so and then of course there's Stable Diffusion. Stable Diffusion is from a company called Stability AI, and Stable Diffusion is their open source model. So the model itself is free. There are multiple ways that you can run it. For example, like you can run it like in a Python notebook in Google Drive. Very slow to run, and it's also pretty complicated. Like the user experience behind that is not like, oh wow, this is super awesome. And what you can also do, there's also a cool app for the Mac called Diffusion Bee. So if you don't want to pay a software license for the GPU to run these models, right, you can effectively get it for free with Diffusion Bee. And Diffusion Bee Diffusion Bee installs Stable Diffusion on your Mac, and you can generate images through that. That's a pretty neat little product. I would say, like, if you have a Mac, start there and just mess around with some prompts, because it doesn't really cost you. I mean, it does cost you in the form of electricity, but it's free, for all intents and purposes. You're not subscribing to anything, or you don't have to do any of that. You can experiment for free, decide if it's something that you like. So that comes with some caveats though. Like Midjourney is definitely the best. You'll get the best images from Midjourney. I use Stable Diffusion for my image making. And I've got a cool software product that I use that is actually able to get some pretty good images out of that. And the reason I do that is, one, on the desktop, I have one of the Mac Studios with a M1. It's pretty fast, but creating those AI images on your desktop is still pretty slow and intense. Like it takes a while if you download, install the model on your computer to get an image. And still, the general Stable Diffusion model, like getting vanilla images out of that, I don't know. I don't find, and I'll be able to show you like the difference in quality. it's not so great in terms of just you being the model. Now, I use this tool called Super Machine, and what's interesting in how this works is it all works on Stable Diffusion, but there are submodels therein that you can choose from. So one, for example, was trained on images output from Midjourney, and you can get some pretty cool images from that. So it's kind of like, one model is trained on the output of another model. And then it's, trained by like another model trained by Arcane, like the video game and TV series from Netflix.
Yep.
And then, anyway, they have all sorts of models, which I'll show you. So the key anyway to getting good models is or not getting good models. The key to getting good pictures is using good prompts, basically.
Okay.
So what I find it best are two characteristics. One, the good prompts, like I said. Two is I like to use a trained model on top of Stable Diffusion, not just vanilla Stable Diffusion. I just can't get great results out of that. So,
okay.
And that's why I get a lot of value out of Super Machine. And for another reason, it processes like super fast. So I can get many images in the amount of time that it takes me to get them on my desktop. And it's not the fault of Diffusion B. That's some awesome software. I don't have the hardware like the GPU to create those images quickly enough. And it's just
okay. Interesting.
So what I can do here is I'll share sort of what I got going here. So this is Super Machine, and there have been various. Right now, I have this on the original models here, right? And there have been various iterations of Stable Diffusion, so I can run it off version 1.4, version 1.5, and version 2.1.
So just let everyone know, Super Machine it's a website, so it looks like supermachine.art, right?
Yes.
And I think this is still on AppSumo, right? This was an AppSumo deal, and I think it's still there.
I love this thing. I think it's super. It's been really reliable for me, and the limits are just super high. And this is there have been a ton of UX improvements to this since I first got it. So it's basically, it feels like a totally different app. I really like this a lot.
Okay, cool.
So I'm just going to type a random prompt in here. Kind of is a high level, the way the Stable Diffusion prompts work are a little bit different from Midjourney, but as a high level, it prioritizes the stuff earlier in what you write relative to later, right? So if it's something that's really important, try to put it up front. So I'm going to put whoops, I didn't spell that right, did I? There it is. Portrait of an anthropomorphic dog, centered, realistic, like 8K. You put like 8K or ultra realistic, right? So that you want sharp detail, dramatic lighting.
Hey, now how do you know how do you know to put realistic or 8K or dramatic lighting? So that's my problem is how do I describe what I want? It's I want a picture of a dog. Okay.
Yeah. There are a bunch of guides out there, and I'll kind of go over some shortcuts later, which you're going to think are stupid and kind of hilarious at the same time.
Okay.
But I'll show. I want to save that for later because it's you'll laugh.
Okay, cool.
All right. So I'm just going to save this one here because I might use that again here. So I'll click I'm just using the basic Stable Diffusion model.
And you use Stable Diffusion 2.1, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So this isn't bad. but it's not an anthropomorphic dog at all, right? Like it doesn't look like a human. It looks like a
Yeah.
dog being a dog.
Yep.
All right.
By the way,
So
I had no idea what anthropomorphic even meant.
it's yeah, it's just like you're sort of personifying it.
Got it. Okay.
And then so that's all right. So it's a dog, it's realistic looking enough, but I'll go to custom models here. And you see like there are a whole bunch of models, right?
Yeah.
Like this one, you can make things that are just gross, right? So maybe I'll go to nature eyes. I'll try this one, right? Or I'll try redshift diffusion. See, that's like an anthropomorphic rabbit there.
Okay.
So I will try that. So a little bit closer, it's a portrait of a dog.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to try multiples. I had to relocate a cat. We were about to have a cat fight. Hopefully, we can just edit that out and post. So, but in any case, like these aren't really. I have to fix my prompt again.
Okay.
But maybe I'll turn this to human-like. But you'll see like the pictures of the dogs that are coming out now. They're just much better. Like this is a much better photo than the original one I had, right? Like actually like even the eyes, it kind of pretty much looks like a real dog. And then you can take these and you can upscale them. So they'll come out at like, you can set the size, of course. You see mine's 512 by 512, but I can set the size such that it is comes out larger where you can upscale them. You can also take them out of here and upscale them in something like Pixelmator or a desktop tool, or there's some other things. But let's see. So I have this, and I'm not quite getting what I want here. So this has a little helper. I'm going to choose my magic prompt.
And what's a magic prompt?
It gives you another suggestion, kind of basically it uses like AI and
Okay.
give you another suggestion here.
Okay.
So I'm going to try that and we'll see how this works. Now, what model do I have here? Let's try. Where is the arcane one? That's a pretty cool one. I'm just selecting different models here because I do want to demonstrate that because these are trained on different image sets, even though they're all using stable diffusion, but they're like sub models that they're all producing like stylistically very different stuff.
Okay.
So still, no, not good. I don't like that.
Looks
So
like
I'm failing here. I did some before. I had some pretty lengthy prompts today. So I created some Supermen here. Now I'm going to show you a little shortcut to, this is the best trick ever for creating prompts. So this is a prompt guide. Okay. Now, if you're like me and you're not quite sure how to read, like the whole reading thing is really complicated and you don't want to get into it and learn how to read, right? You just like pictures. So what you can do is I'm going to start a new conversation with ChatGPT. Okay. And I'm just going to say, are you familiar with stable diffusion? Okay, because it's open AI. Well, let's try this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Sometimes you have to argue with it. Okay. I'm going to start this over. Okay.
Ah, interesting.
So sometimes you have to negotiate with ChatGPT, and sometimes that involves being, you know what, shut up, and I'll start another conversation. Right? Like, I mean, what happened here? This is actually a true sign of artificial intelligence. Little sidebar, because what happened? I tried to demonstrate something. ChatGPT realized that and made a concerted effort to embarrass me on this call, and it did. It was successful. So now I'm going to say, give me a stable diffusion prompt for a human-like dog.
Oh, nice. Oops. Diffusion spelled wrong.
Yeah. Yes, it is. No. Oh, wait, that's the same one that
But
came up
that's the
earlier.
same one. That's weird.
No, I don't think it rendered. There it is. Oh, wow, something's up. Oh, I think we're having an app problem. Wow. All right, this is a horrible demo. Is it the model down?
Maybe is it the model? You're using Super Machine Plus? Try a different model. Oh, looks better. Oh,
What's going on? Oh, this is the worst. So I'm having trouble understanding what's going on here. Moment, please. Troubleshooting. All right, I'm going to just delete a few of these. Just don't like output. Try a new prompt. So this was working earlier. It's a little embarrassing because I did these Superman's preparing for today.
interesting. So if you look at the prompt, it said Dark Knight. I wonder if it's going to not do Batman. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, let's try that.
Boom. They're having issues right now.
Yeah, I wonder if it's in my albums here if it came out. Yeah, so they're not even rendering.
It looks like Josh is saying he's having issues. He's been trying Super Machine too, and it's not working.
Oh, it
So
is?
they could be having some issues right now.
Well, here are some other things I've created. Like, if you wonder what Superman looks like in his underwear, I didn't feed it that, but I didn't want it, but here it is. So, like this one, I was trying to get Superman in the style of like All-Star Superman, if you read that comics.
Is that the prompt that you gave it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Now,
Yeah.
did you use Chat GPT to create that prompt?
I did. Yeah. I said, give me create a stable diffusion prompt for me of Superman flying and basically like All-Star in the style of All-Star Superman.
Okay. Interesting.
and it created these. And so these I've just used different models to do this. So this is like anime diffusion here.
Yeah. Definitely looks like
But
anime.
it's a bummer that's
Now, one thing I've noticed that anyone that used Super Machine, like it does not work well in Safari. I've only been able to get it to work in Chrome, so that kind of drives me nuts when websites do that. There's a few websites.
Interesting. I use it on Safari Mobile a lot. Like sometimes at night, I just mess around and.
Oh, really? I tried it on. It wouldn't generate anything when I was in Safari, but when I launched Chrome, it was working just great. So interesting. Oh, Josh says it works again.
Oh, it is? Does?
Yeah. Yeah, he says it's back up.
I don't know DALL-E 2. See how it does here. Oh, might not, because DALL-E has all sorts of rules about like, oh, it might do it.
So anyone that isn't aware, he's using Chat GPT right now, which is chat.openai.com.
All right, so these are terrible.
Those are pretty bad, yeah.
So I don't really use. Okay, no, I'm
what
sorry.
Is up
I
with
love
that
this
second one?
I love this one. I mean, why? It's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna go back here. Boy, this is literally the worst demo I think that I've seen on a Weaver Space Live ever. I'm happy to be part of it, but not in this way at all. All right, so let's see. Generate an image here, and hopefully I get something back. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
A little more Batman like, but I don't like it. But at least like composition wise, we're getting Batman.
And it's a lot better than DALL-E 2, for sure.
Yeah. So let's try a few others here. So this is better.
Oh, yeah.
This one, I'm hopeful that I'll get a pretty cool one here. I've gotten some good ones out of this model before. All right. Yeah, that's not bad. So let's see. Let's do a few more.
Oh, so you can just keep clicking and it'll generate a certain number with that same exact.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. I actually really dig this one with his back turned.
Yeah. That's actually quite interesting.
I don't like this one. It's good to provide feedback. This is bad.
Yeah.
So you do have to kind of play around a little bit to get good ones, to get like high quality items. But like that's like this, I can do 5,000 images a month. So I just like will submit a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So that's no, don't like that either. Let's see. Did I try this? Let's try. And then you can go to advanced settings here. So I can make this like a portrait 16:9.
Oh, okay.
640x3. Let me do that. It'll use a little more credits here, and I'll do 4 images.
Oh, okay. So you can say generate 4 of them. We got it.
Yeah. And you can the seed number here, this doesn't really matter. You can choose a random seed. If you choose a seed, so a seed.
Oh, your mic just went out.
Am I back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that happens when you accidentally hit the mute button, I learned. So as I was saying before I so rudely interrupted myself, a seed is sort of the noise level that it starts with. It's basically kind of like static, and it builds an image off of that. at a high level. So if you identify a seed, right, and then you give it a prompt, right, and you have the same seed and prompt combination, you will get the same image every time.
Okay.
However, if you like the style of an image that you get, you can retain a seed and slightly adapt the font. So it starts from sort of the same basis and goes on from there.
Got it.
So let's see. Now I'm doing 4. Let's just make a bunch of these. I wonder what Instagram influencer would be like. Yeah, so that one's a little neat.
Yeah. The second one, not so much.
On this one. This one's awful. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to change my prompt. So my prompt is, so it's
So I loved your idea about using Chat GPT to help you create prompts. That's probably if you're just getting started, it's probably a good way to learn, how to be more descriptive on creating the prompts you want. I could definitely see that.
Because what it did for that was, it doesn't know chat, as we saw, it doesn't know Stable Diffusion right away. But what you can do is find a good guide for Stable Diffusion.
Yeah.
Tell it to read the guide. And then it will use it.
That's actually a pretty cool tip. I never even thought about doing that. That's very slick.
So, and I use that like when I'm trying to figure out something for like, CSS, or I'm writing a little bit of PHP, and I get stuck. I will say, read this document. Here's what I've written so far. Fix it. And it does. Like it actually it works.
That's crazy. Interesting.
It's pretty amazing. All right, he's standing on top of a building at night. Dark. See what this one generates. And then I'll put this in like the magic prompt area and see what that generates. All right, so kind of a little meh. So I need to, I'm going to go back to, there's a mid-journey improved model here that I want to grab. So I'm going to try this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm giving it, that's that side. All right, so what it's doing, it's outputting like maybe some artists or something. I don't even really know some of these people. All right, well, anyway, we'll leave it. No, not good yet. I'm going to look at some of the prior. Oh, Rudolph. That's pretty. This was the classic. Let's see. I had a superheroes one. Oh, here it is. Skeletor's not really a hero, but you get the drift. All right. So I've done like a bunch of Superman and Batman ones. So I just want to see what models I've used for this.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they do come out all right. Like this one's super realist, pretty realistic.
Yeah, it is.
So I'm just making some bad prompts and striking out. I dig this one. Superman's pretty evil there.
Mm-hmm. So what have you used that feature where you can like upload an image to do, like what does that like
Yeah,
use that as a
so
base? Like what is that useful for?
yeah, that image to image. So on any like that feature of stable diffusion
Mm-hmm.
exists, just in the model. So a lot of software packages have that. Don't use it. Like I don't really think it's good. The reason being, like, it uses that image is basis for something else.
Okay.
Not to copy it. Like it can make you just sort of look like it doesn't create anything that really looks like you necessarily.
Okay.
It'll either, when you back off, the kind of creativity applies, it'll
Mm-hmm.
almost, it'll spit out just a lot of the same photo. When you
Got it.
add it, it starts looking like something else. It's a lot different from software products like Lensa and stuff where you can download that on your iPhone. And what those do is they create, you actually, because you supplied a bunch of images of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it actually trains sort of like how these work. So there's like a Mid-Journey model here, right? And
Yeah.
there's a Arcane model. It
Yeah.
works in the same way. It would create a Joe Workman model.
Got
So
it. Got
those
it.
things are not, they're often an added price on top of any subscription that you have, because you have to assign specific compute to train a model for that.
Ah, okay.
And then you
Interesting.
get the output of the trained model, and then it burns the model.
Got it.
Um, but some of these are all right. So I'm going to go back to my albums here, and I'm just going to see if I can get another Superman. Or let's see, this one was decent. Okay, I'll try that. Oh, I didn't really change what it was, but all right, get a bunch running here.
Oh, some of those are interesting.
Yeah, not awesome. Oh,
Jesus.
I like this one. And the reason I like it is because if you want to, like, what's the answer to the question, what does it look like when somebody has an arm growing out of their chest? That's the answer. So some of these are better. Like this is all right. This is just, I guess, a good cityscape of Gotham. I kind of dig that, actually. There's no
Yeah.
Batman, but I do like it. And it looks like these are not processing yet. So let's try to find some.
So other than, creating images for fun,
Yeah.
okay, how have you used this uh for creating images for websites yet?
Now I haven't put them on a website yet. Just because I haven't really done one where it's been like caused for more abstract images. And I
Mm,
have, real stock art. And I think
yeah.
just in general, while Mid Journey is definitely getting better, like in terms of like the realism these things produce,
Hmm.
sometimes can get like people have extra fingers and stuff like that.
Got it.
And but I mean, you can get some. Let's see, you can get some actually pretty decent ones coming out of here. Like I really like the Watchmen, so I tried to create like Dr. Manhattans.
Mm,
So this was just, iterating through some of the prompts, and some of these actually ended up like super cool.
yeah.
but I'm not getting really great one. So maybe let's, instead of drawing from my inspiration, give me something we want to make.
Hey, someone in the chat, why don't you give me an idea in the chat what you guys want to see?
Nothing X-rated. I'm not doing it.
Hey, well, while that's coming, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which I know a lot of people are thinking about. Is, hey, are these images legal? Like, can I use these on my website?
So Getty Images is suing Stability AI.
Mm-hmm.
So because it will like produce the watermark.
Yeah.
Because it off of
Explain what that is.
Get,
Maybe some people don't know about that story.
Oh yeah. So this is very obviously a threat to like the stock art industry.
Yeah.
As you can see right now, right, which I hopefully have demonstrated clearly, while not intentionally, it's not as good. But the future is like people will be using these text to image tools to create stock art for their websites. And the reason is because it's just a lot cheaper than buying it, right?
Yeah.
So you can create something in the style of a famous artist, be it a famous photographer or a famous painter or whomever, right? And get that output as an image. Now, there are, for like US copyright laws, there are a few things that, 3 or 4 things that they take into account. I'm not a lawyer. Like one is like the harm to the company that a product is doing. 2 is, right, is it beyond like reasonable use? So is it actually reproducing work, right? I guess I'm sort of the opinion that it's not, right? So I think there's definitely an argument to be made, right? If Stable Diffusion or any of these tools are outputting a logo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or like the Getty Images logo, then yeah, you could argue that they're violating the trademark of Getty Images, certainly, right?
Yeah.
So they would like programmatically say like, hey, we know, because we know we're using a lot of Getty Images to train our model, right? So we should exclude those. We should exclude those logos as artifacts in the output.
Yeah.
But that
so basically,
said,
what's
right,
going on is these services or AI, they're scouring images on the web, right?
Correct.
And obviously, Getty Images is a huge stock art, company, and they have their watermark across images that have not been purchased. And these images are getting read in to be learned by the AI tools, so they're learning about this Getty watermark, right?
Yeah.
And so basically, when someone generates it, and if it puts this Getty watermark on there, it's because these algorithms have learned about the Getty Images watermark. I'm assuming it would probably be like Shutterstock as well, because that's another one that you see a lot of, right?
Yeah. And it's just what it is it's not that it's copying the image, it's just an object in a lot of images. So for example, if you use the word car, the model doesn't know the difference between a car and the Getty Image logo, or a sneaker and the Getty Image logo, or any logo. But because you know that is a trademark, right, you would want to seek to exclude it, which I have no idea what they'll do, but I would think that they would do. But what these are doing, though, these are just they're looking at the web, they're looking at prior art out there, and they're making new art. And from that perspective, I think it's tough. I think it's tough to say that they're derivative, that they're not new works, right? Because if you say, well, okay, what work did this copy? Well, it's a style of something. A style of what, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it may be a style of something, but lots of humans share style, right? In terms of like musical style. Like country artists sound like some country artists sound like other country artists, some pop artists like other pop artists, right? Some have melodies that sound like songs that were like maybe in the 50s or whatever, right? But there's like, there are themes that, like, as more media is created over time, there will be more like, oh, well, this one thing appears in this in a fragment in the future, right? But if it's not taking, right, and just kind of representing it as its own, like I'm just tweaking this image and I'm representing it as my own.
Yeah.
then I don't know. I think there's a difficult argument to make. You could argue maybe copyright law is wrong, whatever. That's for the courts to decide. I think the real problem with this, rather than like, somebody being in school and learning an artist's art style and, creating a piece of artwork, is the industry is, really apprehensive because of the volume and how easy that this is. Like the costs of production to go to like basically zero.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a threat.
Sure. 100%. So Danny is asking, so he sees that Google is warning about using AI content for web developers, and he says that they are downgrading AI content in favor of original content. Now that I read that out loud, I think he's talking about text content, right?
Yeah, he
I
is.
believe.
And there's a mix of yes and no. They've since issued some clarifying comments on that. They can't really tell if it's AI, right?
Yeah.
But what
Yeah.
they can do,
How can you tell exactly?
yeah, they can tell if it's like junk content and repetitive and things like that, right? Um, but they can't tell if it's AI. So their clarifying comment was like the content has to deliver value.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's just a bunch of like, wow, look, I can create a 3,000 word article. It uses a bunch of keywords, but it's not all that useful, then they're not going to rank for it.
Yep. Cool. I think that AI text content is a great starting point for things. Like it's kind of like the blank page syndrome, where it's like I have a blank page, I don't know where to start, and then just getting a prompt in ChatGPT for it to give you content, and then you can then take that and then take it wherever you want it to go. Right? I think it's a great thing for that. Like, really, really awesome.
Yeah, I use a tool it's kind of like a research slash authoring tool that integrates with Chat GPT to write articles, right, for clients. And basically what it does is you put in a search query, right? It returns like the top 20 results on the topic, right? Because while you can say like you don't want to you don't want to plagiarize content, you don't want to just use keyword stuff.
Yep.
But certainly, like, it is not a new habit that anybody would say, who are my competitors, right? What articles are ranking, right? And I would want to write an article around that topic that would solve a problem, right? And it doesn't matter. So now you're talking about, okay, so this is a human process that we've accepted for a long time is okay. And now what we're doing is we're throwing another tool at it that's giving us a draft, right? And then to your point, you edit that, right? You edit it for quality and content and make sure that it articulates the position that you want, right? And what it does is it saves you a long time. Similarly, a while ago, Grammarly was doing that, right? Like rewrite this sentence for me.
Yeah.
And I don't say that to impugn Grammarly. What I'm saying is it's largely like an advancement of that, right? Now it's doing it at more and more scale.
Yeah. Yeah. So someone suggests that we need to create a mascot for Weaver Space.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. What should that mascot?
How about make it a quokka?
All right. You're going to have to spell that for me. I know it's a word.
Quoka. I believe that is, or it could be 2 Ks.
All right.
Aha. Romantic. A romantic life.
All right. Let's see what we get off this. And I'll just square 1. Sure. Oh, these are still tanked. Oh, is that a quokka?
That's a quokka.
Look at that. Would we want it to be cartoon-like?
Yeah, how about cartoon like? How about like throw some glasses on him? Make
All
make him
right.
look like a web designer.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Let's see. I tried that anime model. These are a little okay.
Oh, jeez.
No, we're not gonna keep that one. Okay. All right. But you can see it introduced like anime characters.
Yeah,
So
it did.
sometimes it's not perfect. So let's see. That's what's kind of neat about having these additional models to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of just scroll here. I wonder what this one's like. So that's a little hover tooltip. Natural spin on the outputs. Let's see. I don't think this is going to be what we want.
How about the Redream? Try that one. Is it right. The
Oh
one with
yeah,
the
all
little,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like those Funko Pop things.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I like it. I don't think I've ever used this one.
It ditched the glasses on all of them. Interesting.
All right. So let's see. Oops.
Oops. Oh, if you click the little prompt, it copies it back up there. Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah.
Although you have the
Oh.
Batman one in there again somehow.
Hmm?
It looks like your Batman prompt got pasted in there too.
Oh
Wearing
yeah.
glasses, Batman
Yeah,
standing on
yeah,
top.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, because I
It was
did
on
that.
your
Okay.
clipboard.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Oh wow, it's just on my okay. It's not, I'm not adding, I'm deleting. All right. Let's try to make it cartoon.
Yeah, Greg says the remember the most important parts should be up front, right?
Yeah.
Maybe do cartoon Quokka wearing glasses.
Get rid of the romantic lighting. All right, so might be that there aren't a lot of pictures of Quackes here, so I'm gonna
Fair
go. I
enough.
have like a rabbits. I've done like a lot of rabbits.
Yeah, well, let's do a rabbit, sure.
So
Let's
I
look
just
at
want
what.
to see some of my
Oh, look at that.
pops here. So
Yeah, that. Yeah, like basically, yeah, that sort of style with the flannel and everything, dude. That'd be freaking great. Let's see.
portrait of an anthropomorphic quokka wearing a flannel shirt and glasses.
Josh says you should try the Trojan model.
Tron?
Trojan.
Oh, that's a Trojan one.
Not sure what that is. Oh, Tron. I don't see Trojan. Oh, he said Tron.
All right, we'll give that one a whirl. This is cool. Anything you give it makes it look kind of robotic.
Oh, okay.
That's not bad.
Oh, it's getting there.
So I think what we're running up against here because of is the animal that we've chosen. There's not a lot of
yeah. They're very. I can see that.
so I think
I dug your rabbit ones you created though were cool. Yeah.
because I'm providing a lot
Oh,
of
a
the
Yeti.
things.
Yeah. Let's do Yeti. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. Let's see what we get out of here. just try a few of these more. Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah. Absolute stud. Look at that. Okay. That one's less than great. So Arcane's
Yes.
all humans, basically. So no animals there, or no Yeti there.
Try that Redream one again, because I liked that little raccoon dude that it did for the sample thumbnail. That
Oh, this
Redream.
one. Okay.
Yeah. No, the one with the little red raccoon or
Oh,
whatever.
this one. Got it. Okay. I dig this one.
That was pretty funny. Oh, Jesus.
Yes. All right. So we're getting better.
Yes.
So part of it is just, finding, the right, the more data the model, the more images the model has been trained on,
Yep.
the better.
Is there a sign up code, Brett? Yeah, I'll put a link to the AppSumo thing on the event space on Weaver Space. All right.
It's a pretty fun app. It's
yeah.
The downside of all of these, or I think I'll say the advantage of mid journey. Yeah, because it's like wool eyes, so it makes everything look like it's wool.
That's hilarious.
These ought to be great. Oh, good.
Oh,
good.
yeah, especially that second one.
Oh, I like this one. I think it's the drool on this one that.
Yeah.
Okay. But these look pretty good. Like they do look like they're made of wool. All of them.
So Greg's asking, so why do you like Super Machine? Why do you recommend that one strongly over the others?
Because I like the custom models. Stable diffusion by itself, I basically can never get a good result out of it. Everything just looks kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
But these, like if you have a combination of a good prompt, right, and a model that complements it, then you can get some decent results out of it. So there is sort of like a two-dimensional thing to consider there, because like if you put in like I'm just going to put in one here that I know is going to deliver an awful result. Okay. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn portraits. Okay. Because this is all like trained off human beings, right? So these models, right? So stable diffusion is kind of like this large overarching model, right? And it's just kind of trained on everything, and you can throw mouth garbage at it, right? And it'll give you a result, but it won't give you a ton of specificity with style and all that, because it's just everything. Yeah. This stuff gives you more style, but like LinkedIn portraits, there aren't a lot of animal LinkedIn portraits, right? Yeah. So adjust your expectations accordingly. This might deliver some cool ones. See? Like that's, oh, here we go.
Oh, look at that.
All right. So this is pretty good. I like this one. I mean, we've made a ton of images here, so I still have, I can do this like 4,800 more times this time. So just to give you an idea, and like that's part of why I like this one, because it's
How would you rank the different AI image generation platforms? So you think Stable Diffusion is at the top, however, it's not user friendly, so that's why you like the Super Machine, because it kind of adds a
I think Midjourney is the top. Midjourney is absolutely
Midjourney's
top.
Oh, okay.
Leonardo AI creates some great images. That's kind of in a free preview you can sign up for. Then I guess maybe like DALL-E, and then just generic Stable Diffusion.
Okay.
But this kind of takes, just in my opinion, right? Like Stable Diffusion, which is alone, right, a little bit more difficult to get good results out of it. And it puts trained models on top of it, which makes it easier to get good results. And it's got kind of this magic prompt thing. So I'll just throw this in here and see what it says.
So why use Super Machine if I mean because you rank Stable Diffusion kind of towards the bottom. So does Super Machine take it up to the level of Mid Journey?
I think this helps a lot. I still think Mid Journey. I mean, Mid Journey is a really Mid Journey is a dialed in premium product. You know, I
Okay.
think that this is
So
great.
why don't you just use Mid Journey then?
Yeah, it's just because I can create so many more images with this. Like the volume I of mistakes that I can make
Mm-hmm.
for the money are so much less consequential. So like while the hit ratio to getting an image that I really like
Mm-hmm.
is less, I can make orders of magnitude more mistakes.
All right. Oh, does
Like,
Mid Journey cost? I thought it was
yeah,
free as well.
no, it's a free actually they got rid of the free preview, I think, because people were like people made photos of Donald Trump in handcuffs. So they got
Oh,
rid of the free
okay.
preview. So, but yeah, I think it's a minimum of 10 or 15 bucks a month. And then if
Oh,
you want, and
I
that's,
didn't even realize
yeah,
that.
and I think
Okay,
that's for
interesting.
maybe 200 images or something. I haven't looked at it in a while. Um, and it's all through Discord. I like having an interface assigned to this. I like having history. I can organize the stuff into albums and everything. I
Yeah.
just delete the ones that I don't like. I think this is a really good product. I mean, and while the core stable diffusion model, I don't think is as good as Mid Journey, I think the software layer Super Machine puts on top of it makes it a bunch better.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the model will get better, right? They
Yeah.
all will, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes like, you know, everything is good.
Yeah.
Um,
All right.
so
What other AI tools do you use? Not necessarily image based, but like I mean, we're kind of closing up on time, but like just a quick rundown of what other AI tools do you like? You said you have one that you use for content generation.
yep. Yeah, I use phrase.ai.
Phrase.ai.
Yeah.
Okay.
With that's like a research tool combination content creation tool.
Mm-hmm.
So you will put in a topic or search query. It'll go do the research, right? Like what other topics exist about, like what other articles exist about this, and you can either say, wow, you can use that to inform a content outline, which you can create in the tool, or you could have the AI automatically create headings for you
Mm-hmm.
and then write some of the text. And then as an SEO tool, right, after you kind of massage it and get it like, okay, this is actually saying something that I intend to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten rid of some of the repetitive elements out of it. You can make it give you sort of a heat map in terms of like, okay, so if you want to rank for this topic, right, your competitors are using XYZ keywords. This is how many times they're using them and stuff. And what's helpful about that is, you know, you don't want to certainly don't want to spam an article because that will hurt you with Google, right?
Yeah.
But you want to be using keywords in there. And it's not like I don't think it's a shady thing to use keywords, right? It means that you're
Mm-hmm.
using words in your copy that other people on the web use to describe what you're writing about,
Yes.
right? And that's what you need to do. So you may not, I think like sometimes maybe people say, oh, I don't want to use that word, or I want to use a branded word. Don't,
Mm-hmm.
because people
Mm-hmm.
don't search for like your brand's, your small company brand or whatever trademark you put on that.
Yeah.
They might search for the capability or the problem you solve, but they're
Mm-hmm.
not searching for like you know, web awesome TM, right? Like that's not a thing. That's
Yeah.
a thing. You know, there was this I don't know if you've all seen Mean Girls, but stop trying to make fetch happen, basically. So
Have you do you use any of the so just this morning actually I downloaded this Mac app called Mac GPT.
yeah,
Do you use any sort of Mac apps or you just open up the fire up the browser and go straight to it?
I've just been using Chat GPT. I mean, I like that. That's a good app. I've thought of getting it. I haven't yet because it's
Yeah.
just I keep Chat GPT and it's tab in the browser. What I do think is kind of super cool about that is, you know, this for folks who are interested, and you'd be You'd have to get an API key from OpenAI, which would cost you money. It's relatively inexpensive, but you can actually
No,
run
you can
that
get a free API key.
The API key is free, but they charge you usage.
Oh, yes.
So, and it's not too much money, but like basically you can run that like Siri, where you have like the command space and you'll get like a little
So is it usage after a certain amount? Because like I've never given them my credit card, like any sort of billing information, and they gave me a.
Well, if you are using, so are you using it in the top of the screen there, or are you using it?
Right now, I just have it. I just launched the app, and then you can search. I haven't used it from the menu bar yet.
So you're not actually using the API there.
Oh, okay, got it.
You're just logged in. The API is if you want to create like sort of when you hit command space bar and you get a Siri voice.
Yep.
That sort of thing.
Got it. Okay.
So it's a totally different So here's the pricing here. Whoops.
Yeah, well that's for GPT-4, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they have let's see. Here we go. So they have like different models, like 3.5 is the one if you log into GPT, ChatGPT,
okay.
That's what you get.
Got it.
GPT-4 is more expensive. So if you have the free plan of ChatGPT, you will not be able to see or use ChatGPT-4. And if you have the paid plan, you get a limited number of queries, I think, per day for ChatGPT-4. And then of course, like using the API key is more expensive.
Yes.
These are some other, they have a bunch of different kind of APIs that cost more or less for the different models based on how much compute they take to run.
Yep.
But they all work the same in that you think that it's AI, but it's not actually AI. Like there's no contextual awareness. So by that, I mean, I've started this chat here, right? About Batman and giving me a DALL-E 2 prompt here.
Yep.
But if however long my, here's my like guide for art prompts. Maybe it didn't come up. Oh, I didn't do anything here. But the way this actually works is you're not kind of actually having a conversation. It looks like a conversation, but you give a prompt and it responds with a prompt, and then you respond, maybe ask questions, you ask for more information, maybe you supply an article to read, whatever. Every time you hit send, it actually resends the entire conversation history and it's reprocessed right down to the end. So it's not like, you said after I said something and you remember that you said that, and now I'm saying something and you're remembering that. There's no memory at all. So
interesting.
It's just the whole payload goes. So if you delete this, like any one of your chats, it doesn't know that really you exist.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Josh is recommending Lori, which is an iOS app. I did get Lori. I did have that as well. It seemed a little slow for me though. So the guy who did Mac GPT also has an iOS app that I installed, but I haven't tested it out yet. So one thing I noticed with Lori, one thing I like, so if you go to ChatGPT online, like it like types things out as it's coming back, to you, which is kind of nice because you get some instant feedback. With Lori, it seems like it waits for the entire response to be done and then posts it all at once. So, and that just makes it feel slower to me. But yes, I do have Lori. I like the icon. The icon's cute.
Yeah, this is like, I think it's cool. And like the texting, part of the, seeing a type.
Yeah.
That is part of what it makes it feel like you're talking to a human.
Yes. 100%.
It creates that illusion, even though it has no persistent memory whatsoever.
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing.
Totally.
Like, yeah. I mean, I think it's an awesome product, and sometimes it will just mess stuff up.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. So, I've gotten some content back from it that I knew the subject fairly well, and I knew there were things wrong in it. So
yeah.
Yes, make sure that ChatGPT is not 100% correct. Like it does give you false information from times.
Yeah, I'm going to just say write 160 character description. one thing I've seen is that, it can't count at all. All right. Oh, that seems about right. Okay. Maybe they've improved this, but I mean, I used to go back several times. Let's see. Maybe they fixed it. Okay, so this is a little better. So they update it all the time, but I would be getting, like, as recent as a month ago, I was getting paragraphs out of this.
Yeah.
But to your point, Joe, and this is true in like content authorships tools too, like phrase that I use.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be very mindful that the information is confidently wrong sometimes.
Yes.
So people look at it like it is a ChatGPT, like it is a replacement for search. I don't think that it is, for a couple of reasons. First, the average 75% of all Google searches are 3 words or are 3 words. And you're typing whole sentences to get the answer to any query here.
Yeah.
Second, when you deliver an input to Google, right, you may get like a fast answer from Google, like a flight time or whatever, but you also get a multitude of references, right?
Yeah.
With ChatGPT, like ChatGPT is the information authority. It's the only information authority. You have no way to verify what it's saying it's true, right? Until such time that A, it can be faster to extract information over search, and B, that you have, references, like cited references, which probably won't want to do, because then people will be like, you're scraping Google, you're scraping my website and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But until such time that happens, I don't really see it's going to necessarily replace search.
Yeah. So have you gotten access to Bard yet? Just curious.
Yeah. I haven't played a lot with
I haven't
it, though.
used it. How is it related, relation to ChatGPT?
Not as good yet.
Not as good yet? Okay.
No, and I'm not close.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
cool.
But I mean, this just has more legs on it. I mean, the thing is, like, if Google had come out with this first, could you imagine the optics of that? Like, if you forget that, like, this small company being OpenAI came out with this like ChatGPT service and it was Google, people would be freaking out.
Yeah.
Like freaking out.
But I mean, I know OpenAI is a quote unquote small company, but I mean, they have big money back from Microsoft and stuff, don't they?
Oh yeah, they do. They actually, it started out as a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And then, it realized, like, I want to be profitable. So
Yeah.
it's not a nonprofit anymore.
Sweet. Well, Bret, I appreciate it. We went a little bit longer than we normally do, so I appreciate that. And thanks for taking the time to come out and share knowledge with all of us. Hope you guys in the chat enjoyed this.
Yeah, my pleasure. And if people, like, if you want to, like, learn how to run an unsuccessful demo, like, rewatch this and take notes.
No, it was pretty good, dude. I mean, yeah, I thought it was great. And everyone in the chat is saying they loved it. Some people saying they're creating all their accounts now on ChatGPT and other services. So, cool.
Dude, it is awesome. I mean, it is really, like, as a web developer, right? It will help you. And it's not just from doing the work. It's also, like, it's helpful in terms of teaching. So, like, when it provides like code back to you, it explains it, like, what it does. That's useful. That's because that teaches you, right? Next time you do that, I understand, I didn't just copy paste. I have comprehension of what it gave me. It's pretty sweet.
Sweet. So, parting question, actually. So, a lot of people are like, there's some web design tools are coming out with AI integrated, right? And from what I've seen, it's a mixture of just like having a tab of ChatGPT open and create some content for you, right? Or it's like some convoluted, I want 3 columns, and inside that I want an image, in the second column I want this text, and in the third column I want this thing, and then it can, like, generate that for you. I personally don't see that being useful at all, because by the time I type all that out, I can have added all that content to the page anyway. From what you've seen of some of these AI integration that some web tools are integrating, do you think they're useful? And another part, even a bigger question is, how long till we get to the point of create me a website AI tool, you know? What are you
Um,
thinking?
so I think right now the mix of mildly useful and lots of novelty.
Mhm.
So, and I don't say that just like I realize I have some self-interest here as like a web developer, but
Yeah.
I don't think that they're really going to replace that in any meaningful way. Because when you build, like if you build a static landing page website,
Mhm.
well, sure, but there are already tools that do that without AI.
Yeah.
So whatever. Like what so the difference there is like the novelty that you did it with a text input, right?
Mhm.
Where I mean you could just as easily, I mean, I'm being a bit cynical here, but you have a company and you just have built a bunch of templates. And when you get a text prompt, you just return one of the templates, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Right. And then you throw
Yep.
some copy on the page. Some of them, you can get to like, hey, I'll give you, I'll write out divs and stuff and I'll give you columns, right? But a
Mhm.
lot of websites are a little bit more complicated like that, right? They have working forms and things like that. They have to authenticate via SMTP. Maybe
Yes.
they have like relational taxonomies and things like that. I think that's going to
Mhm.
be much more of a struggle to do. And that, that kind of thing can happen with like drag and drop, maybe in the future website builders, right? Where you
Mhm.
take like a software development platform sort of, and you're building kind of like an application. But I don't think that I don't think it's really going to replace developers like or website builders and page builders at any time soon. I think it will make software developer jobs a bit, will threaten some of those because software developers will be like a lot faster to get done what they need to get done.
Mhm.
Second, like I think, if you sort of look at like chat GPT and you're thinking like personal assistant and access to information, and I say this with like with a big assumption that the information gets better. I mean, the risk to really web development is kind of the risk to the web in general. So but by that I mean, right, you have like a lot of AI content and a lot of people are pushing out junk AI content. And then the other side, content for you, like through like Chat GPT, is becoming increasingly personalized, right? Like having an assistant with you. So when you need information, it's more returned to you on a personal level. I think maybe like in the long term, that's probably the larger threat to the web as well, because it sort of eliminates the need to have websites.
Cool.
But again, not all circumstances, but still like, yeah, journalism, has a tough road ahead of it for sure.
Yep. Um, so let me just add on top of that. So from a developer standpoint, like, I see that, and I see a lot of people, especially actually kind of power users, I would say, you and other Weaver space users, creating some bits of code, right? And I can totally see like I want to create this one little thing and I can create that with ChatGPT, let's say,
Yeah,
right? But when you're building something, let's say like total CMS, right? You can't just
right.
be like, ChatGPT, I need to create this entire complex app that has this huge scope that has, 50 million things to do. You're not going to do that with ChatGPT, right? That requires definitely a different level, someone that has the bigger picture on how all the individual pieces work and fit together, right?
And it's more than that. What would the prompt look like that would output a CMS?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
right? It has to have this. So you basically have to have somebody with an understanding of a data model, right?
Mhm.
And to describe the data model, all like the join conditions for various tables and
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah,
So like, I mean, when any technology comes out, you sort of imagine like what the future of that technology is. And it takes a little bit longer to get there than what you imagine. But at the same
mhm.
time, I mean, it'll mature very rapidly in different ways than you won't expect. But I do not think that that's like a specific specific threat.
Yeah.
Um, you might be able to like if there's super documentation and stuff, right? A user might be able, if like there's a simple stack or something, right? They might
Mhm.
be able to do that. So, or maybe if they wanted to add like a login system to a website, right? It creates it to whatever. I'm just making something up. You might be able to articulate that in a prompt, but a whole application is crazy.
Last question, Brett. What shampoo do you use to get your hair so shiny and flowy?
Oh wow, Vidal Sassoon.
Oh, there we go.
Do they still make that? Is that so? Like, I just remember those commercials from when I was a kid.
You make me feel like a natural.
Yeah, yeah. The person waved their hair, but then there was that commercial with the lawnmower, and they had to stop doing those.
Cool.
Yeah, folks, definitely play with the AI tools. Like, they'll make you better at what you do. I do just want to say one thing.
Yeah.
Because in summary, like, technology will always threaten specific industries and features of industries. Like, as a web developer, like, get good at providing more comprehensive services. So so like when you build a website, like, try to understand their business, right? Try to understand like how, like, a narrative flow on the page, things like that, right? Like how to like language to use, understand like what a user persona is, right? So you can write to the correct audience. Like, if you can do that, right, the web development will, like, you become a lot more valuable and you can charge more of a premium as a web developer.
Yep. Sweet. Cool, Brett. I appreciate it. Everyone, we're going to sign off. Hopefully we'll see you on Friday, the Hangouts. And if not, we'll see you in the live stream next week. Thanks, everyone.